Welcome back to Black Revolution, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Dem Day. We're gonna talk about one topic: Andrew Cuomo and the MeToo movement. Let's get into it. Here we go. Hey, hey, hey. So I got a very special guest in the building. He is Mr. Entrepreneur. He is Mr. CEO. He is Tyler, aka Kidd Klutch Productions. How you doing, young brother?
Doing good, Daniel. And I want to, this wasn't planned, but I want to first say that thank you for everything you do as far as for the community and everything. And I just want to, sometimes we don't honor our people until after they go on, but I want to take the opportunity to honor you right now. To say thank you that you are a legend in the making and that keep doing what you're doing. And this platform, I've been told by many people, they listen to it and they're saying it's having a positive impact. It's getting a lot of conversation out there and a lot of things moving. I just want to thank you. Take this moment and thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Well, I appreciate it, and that's what the mission is all about, brother. We got to evolve our people. We got to think at a higher level. So, without further ado, thank you for the praise, and let's get into this topic. So, let's talk about Andrew Cuomo, man. So, for the past few weeks, he has been called in New York to resign because of sexual allegations against him by various different women, saying that he sexually harassed them and he allegedly, touched them inappropriately and allegedly did some things inappropriately. What are your thoughts on this, Tyler?
My thoughts, like I always say on a lot of things being investigated, is just let the investigation roll on. Stop trying to convict people in the court of public opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And just let the law convict the people. Let the investigation go on. Why are you telling him to resign before his term is up? The people of New York elected him for a reason. They elected him to do a job, and he did the job.
Mm-hmm.
So if he decides that he wanted to resign, that he didn't want the embarrassment, okay, that's his forte. He can do that. But don't convict the man and force him to bully him into resigning. And the investigation is still open and going on. I just don't like that. They say in the Constitution that you are innocent until proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it always in a court of public opinion guilty until proven innocent? I just don't like it. And I think if New York and the United States, the federal government, they need to be ashamed of themselves for even saying he should resign.
Mm-hmm.
Before the investigation is over. Because if he's elected by the people, if the people of New York want him gone, he gotta go. But right now they're saying 50% plus the people in New York still want him to stay as governor. They don't want him to resign or anything.
Mm-hmm. So
basically, what are you doing if you're saying, oh, he needs to resign? You're saying you don't care about what the people want. I thought people elect politicians, not politicians elect politicians.
Mm-hmm.
And also, too, I want to say with that, going to piggyback into the MeToo movement. Why do we have this thing with the MeToo movement that, okay, if a woman she comes out, we have to believe her? Why can't we just believe, if we want to believe people, believe both parties if somebody has inconsistency in their story?
Mm-hmm.
And it's proven that they're not telling the truth. And why is it if the victim, the alleged victim, is not telling the truth? We prove that nothing happens. It's just like, oh, well, we go back to normal life. But that person's reputation is smeared.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like what's going on with that. And I want to get into with Deshaun Watson. He's going through the same thing too. He has almost 20 women accusing him. Sexual harassment and sexual assault.
Oh, I know about this, Tyler. Elaborate. What are the accusations?
The accusations is that he was going around recruiting massage therapists from Instagram during the pandemic to come massage his groin and give him massages.
Mm.
And it started off with one allegation, then it just kept going on. And I think like this. I've heard people say that, well, I was watching First Take. That's one of my favorite shows. I was watching First Take, and the moderator, Molly Karen Rose, she went on TV saying that, well, the NFL should just have the Texans release Deshaun Jackson and put him on the NFL commissioner's exempt list.
Mm.
And he'll get his money, but he won't be able to play right now. And I think that's wrong, because I feel, why does men always have to suffer from an accusation?
Yeah, it's not like they were proven. It's not like it's been proven. It's the accusation, or it's allegedly. So I'm thinking you gotta let the system run its course, and if they're proven guilty, then you can go ahead and make judgments. But if you're making judgments in the court of public opinion, like, oh, you know he's guilty, you don't know that. All we know is a couple of accounts that he did this and that. With the Andrew Cuomo thing, all we know is that allegedly Cuomo did this and that and the other, and inappropriately touched a woman and inappropriately said things to a woman. But we don't know for a fact that that's the case. So until it's proven in the court of law, not the court of public opinion, I reserve judgment.
And I agree with you on that, because I think what has to happen is, if these victims are proven innocent, yes, consequences need to be taken against these individuals. The governor may have to be impeached. But I'm saying, if Governor Cuomo is not the only one that's being accused of things like this, all the other people, all the politicians, all other famous people that have these accusations and been proven guilty, they need to go be held accountable with them.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't just be him. It can't be just the people on the right, on the left. It's got to be people on the right. We got to hold people accountable.
Of course.
Because there's many people, they can't just be white, black people being held accountable. It's got to be white people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing we're going through with this. Is people want to pick and choose who they want to go to jail or face consequences. And my other thing on that is, if Governor Cuomo is proven innocent, what happens to the accuser, the alleged accuser?
Mm-hmm.
Are they gonna just walk free with no repercussions? His reputation gonna be smeared. Is he ever gonna be able to recover that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we got to think about. Same thing with Deshaun Watson. Will he be able to resurrect his reputation? And I know how these things go. If he's proven guilty, if they're proven guilty, front page, it's going to be front page news.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're proven not guilty, it's not going to be on the front page. It's going to be on the front page. People ain't going to want to talk about it. And that's what I'm saying. Why are we having the same energy for alleged perpetrators in these cases? We want to crucify them and we want to destroy their reputation, but we don't want to rebuild their reputation after that. We don't want to destroy the reputation of those that made false statements. That's all I'm saying. We got to be fair across the board with this. Because I have a lot of guys right now, friends, uncles, cousins and stuff, and they tell me that I'm sure you heard this too, but we have a mutual friend that gets mad about this too. And he says, well, they're saying nobody ever fights for us guys. And they're saying, in this MeToo era, they're saying, what qualifies as sexual harassment?
Mm-hmm.
What qualifies as this? Is it just so a guy says hello to a girl or says something that compliments her, that she going to hold sexual harassment? Or is it he looks at her wrong or something and she calls for sexual harassment? Because you've had somebody on the podcast before that said, oh, well, this guy was raping me with his eyes.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, I had to call her out. I said, wait a second, what are you talking about? Raping through the eyes and all that. That's nonsense.
Yeah, man, And you and I, we both have friends, they said, thank you for doing this. And family, they said, thank you for calling this mess out, because nobody has fought for us.
Yep.
For so long, they're saying guys have to walk on eggshells, and they're saying, well, the alleged victim, they always believe, but nobody wants to hear our side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to fight for us. Everybody just wants to say they believe.
You know why, Tyler? Because it's a double standard. Mm-hmm. It's a double standard. Because you see on one side, you say believe all women, believe the victims, but I guarantee you, if it was the reverse, then they would be clowning. They would say, "Oh, it's not serious, not that serious." Da, 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 da. Like for example, this might be another topic, but the Bow Wow situation. If you don't know, a few years ago, Bow Wow got in a situation with his girl, and his girlfriend beat him up, and there was pictures of his face, and all over the internet, people clowning him, calling him, you a punk, you this and that, da 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 da, ha ha ha, ha, chuckle. But then, if it was the reverse, you all know what would happen. He would get the mob, like, how dare you hit her? You can't hit no woman. You got to do this and that. Like, okay, you got to call a spade a spade. You can't just be for one group of people. Oh yeah. He was wrong. He was wrong. But then another group. Oh no, yeah. You clowning him. It's like you can't be doing that. Something wrong. And I will say this about alleged allegations and everything else. Just because somebody has an allegation doesn't mean that they did it. Let me say it again. Just because somebody has an allegation against them doesn't mean that they did it. They have to be proven in a court of law that they are in fact guilty. They're not guilty by association. They're not guilty by accusation. They are guilty by the law. Like if you have a trial and everything else, and they're guilty, they're found guilty, then they're guilty. The law says guilty until proven innocent, not innocent until proven guilty. Come on now.
And I agree with you too on that. I want to piggyback from with the Bow Wow situation. I remember that we had many discussions on that. We're saying, why is it people were clowning him, and I said it was unfair because had it been reversed, he said people would have been acting crazy, saying he should have did that. But it's like he did what he had to do on this situation. He didn't fight back or nothing. He took it, and nobody stood up and defended him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why another thing I want to say too. I want to piggyback on sexual harassment. You have women that sexually harass men too.
Mm-hmm.
But if they reported that, it wouldn't be taken serious.
Yep. Or it wouldn't be taken as serious. They'd be taken serious, but wouldn't be taken as nowhere near the coverage and nowhere near the press released in the media as it is now.
Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you, if a woman did something to a man, they wouldn't be going to jail.
Yep.
And that's the problem I have with it. When are we gonna stop this mess? Because I personally think the MeToo movement, it started off as something really effective and serious, and I applauded them with that. And I stood up for the women in those cases. But now it's time for me to stand up for the men. And I'm telling the men now, if you're being accused, I'm standing up for you. Because I'm tired of this mess. Like I said, at first when it started, I was on board with this. Because I think that men being treated unfairly in this thing. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be to take down powerful men that abuse their power for sex. Not sex, but use their power as far as harassing women and assaulting them.
Yep.
Not trying to get in a relationship that doesn't qualify. I think the MeToo movement now has become a spectacle. It's become basically a tactic to emasculate men. It's become a tactic to just eliminate male masculinity. And that's what I think it is. People don't want to talk about it. I don't care. I'm going to talk about it. It's ridiculous. Because I want to walk down with sexual harassment. Well, I think sexual harassment is when they're saying something inappropriate to you and you say, I feel uncomfortable, stop saying this. And keep on.
Yeah, they keep on, and then they get physical, and you saying I'm uncomfortable, and then they continue to do it. That's when it's sexual harassment.
Yeah, but it's not a guy saying, "Well, you look good," or "I like this and that," or "He asking you what your relationship status is," or
yeah, all that's nonsense.
That's not. You may feel uncomfortable, but you're not addressing it. You're not saying, "Well, I don't like you or nothing," because of a guy. You always say this whole.
Oh, it's sexy. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. If a dude that you don't like says, "Oh, it's sexual harassment," he a creep. He a creep. No, he could say the exact same thing that the other person said, but then what's the difference? The attraction level. That's the problem. And I'm like, right there with the MeToo movement is become a spectacle. It's become a joke almost.
Yep. And I want to ask you a question, Daniel. I want to get your opinion on this. What is wrong with Governor Cuomo asking a woman lonely?
Nothing.
What's wrong with that?
That's just a general question.
Yeah, that's all I was saying. I don't get why the media is blowing it out of proportion, saying what's the abuse of power. He should use his office to do that. That's the job that he has. That's not who he is. He's still a man.
Mm-hmm.
He told him he's lonely. So if he's looking for a girlfriend, why is it such a problem? And I have a problem with this because Chelsea Handler, she's a comedian. She said that she has a crush on Governor Cuomo. And she went on national TV on different shows saying that she would like to be first lady of New York. But nobody's saying, well, she's sexually harassing or using her position, abusing it. Mm-hmm. So what's the problem with that?
Mm-hmm.
Just like Deshaun Watson. He got a lot of women coming after him, chasing him. And nobody says nothing about harassment. And if he said, no, I don't want you, they follow him. They wouldn't say nothing about sexual harassment and nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, be fair across the board.
Mm-hmm. Same here. That's all we're saying on this podcast. We're not saying that there's no such thing as sexual harassment. We're not saying that. We're saying you got to hold people accountable on both sides of the board. Don't just be like, oh, one side of this and one side is that. I don't care who does it, the man or the woman. If it's sexual harassment, it's sexual harassment. And you got to clearly define what it is that you're talking about. Are you talking about flirtation? Are you talking about sexual harassment? Or are you talking about sexual assault? Sexual assault is a physical action. Sexual harassment is he said something to you that made you feel uncomfortable. If you feel uncomfortable, say you're uncomfortable. It's just that simple. Don't be getting mad and talking about, well, he said it's uncomfortable. And you didn't say anything. Why you didn't say anything? Why you didn't say, okay, it's uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable. Okay, if a person felt uncomfortable and you do it and the person does it anyway, okay, that's a problem. Then you're like, okay, now you can say, oh, it's sexual harassment because, okay, I told him that I'm uncomfortable by this. But he still does it anyway. I'm like, wait a sec. Okay, if he does it anyway, that's a problem. That means he is sexually harassing you. But if you don't say nothing, that means like, okay, like that there's something wrong with that. If you don't say nothing.
And I'm glad you said that because I was watching something on TV and they had, I guess there was a lawyer. She defends the women in these type of cases. And she told the women, our clients, she'll say, did you tell them you felt uncomfortable? And they'll say no. She said, why didn't you do that? And she's saying you basically enabling the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, had you said that I'm still uncomfortable, maybe it'll stop.
Mm-hmm. So, Tyler, overall, what are your closing thoughts on Andrew Cuomo and sexual harassment cases in general, man?
My closing thoughts are the same as my opening thoughts. Just let the investigation roll. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, my closing thoughts are this. Let the investigation roll. Let it take its course. Don't be worrying about this and that or the other. Don't worry about public opinion. Public opinion is irrelevant in the case of law. Let the courts deal with it. Let the investigation go through. If he's been proven to be guilty, he's guilty. But right now, during this time frame, I reserve my judgment until the end of the investigation. If he's been proven guilty, so be it. And if he has been proven guilty, one of these days, I will come on this podcast and say he is guilty of wrongdoing. But until then, I reserve my judgment. This is how you got to be. This is Dab Daniel Show, Dab Daniel Podcast, and I'm signing off. Listen to his outro. Hey, 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 hey. Play.